gentlemen, I'm Curtis Rauen, and welcome to Final Take. Joining me on Debate Desk tonight is Adam Yirkovsky and Jostun Pomplun. Well, guys, how are you guys doing on this fine evening?
Well, I'm doing all right. The race was a little disappointing ending for me anyway. It kind of made me a little mad, and then excited for college basketball to get going here shortly.
Yeah, I'm doing good, Curtis. It's been a long week so far, but I'm hanging in there, and overall doing really well.
Now, you're talking about race. Are you a Jeff Gordon fan then?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was a brutal race and a brutal fight at the end there. They definitely got into that one. Well, let's get right at it tonight with some pointers rapid fire, an update on the college football world, and then some NFL news later on. Well, gentlemen, the UW Stevens Point football team hosted UW Oshkosh this past weekend in what would be a defensive battle. The Pointers held the Titans to just 221 total yards and 6 first downs, but were unable to come away with the victory, falling 21-7. Quarterback Cody Nuremberg completed 17 of 39 passes for 168 yards with a touchdown and 2 interceptions. DeJuan Wright had 89 rushing yards for the Pointers. For Oshkosh, Brett Casper had 3 long touchdown passes, 2 of which went to Matt Yirkovsky. The Pointers defense limited the Titans to just 37 rushing yards, but gave up 3 long touchdown passes. For the defense, who's been pretty much dominant all season, what happened on those plays?
I mean, missed tackles, especially on the first one. He got right to the sideline, went right down the sideline. Missed tackles, broken coverage. I mean, the guy went over the middle and just outran the entire secondary. I mean, they were just short pass plays, so a lot of missed tackles, but that's really cost them the game.
Yeah, and it was just a lot of blown coverages underneath. I don't know if it was the linebacking core or the safety's supposed to come down. I know Matt Gaffney was suspect to missing some tackles, so maybe he was late getting underneath there to help out in coverage underneath. But yeah, like you talked about, the missed tackles were what killed him. I mean, yeah, the coverage broke down, but when you've got 3 guys missing tackles on that one play, I think it was to Yirkovsky. He had that long gain. It was kind of a screenplay, I think. And 3 guys missed tackles. This is a defense that's looked good all year long. And then for them to come out and miss tackles like that, they're easy tackles too. I mean, wrap up and go back to fundamentals.
Yeah, and I think swarming the ball even there, getting a bunch of pointers around that offensive team and swarming the ball, I think would have helped them out in those situations with those missed tackles. Well, the offense struggled again, scoring only 7 points to go along with the 3 turnovers. Is there any chance this offense can resemble what they've done the first 3 games, Jostun?
I don't think so. The passing games took a major hit with the loss of Kyle Larson. I mean, they have no really big plays. It's a lot of dink and dunk stuff. The running game just haven't been able to break out the big plays like they used to. So no, especially going against top-ranked defense in Whitewater, I don't think this offense is going to get back to where it was at the beginning of the year.
See, I think they can, though. I mean, Cody Nuremberg, yeah, he was only 17 for 39 on the day, but at times he looked like he's a guy who can step in and make some plays happen. And I know he's not Kyle Larson. I mean, I'm not saying that, but he stepped in and did pretty well. And if you look at the game as a whole, the Pointers had the ball way longer than Oshkosh did. They were moving the ball. They had a good balance going at times, but like you talked about, the turnovers got him and bit him in the butt a little bit. But you've got to just believe that Cody Nuremberg, that was his first start. And is he going to do that much better against Whitewater? I don't think so. But I think, if you look ahead to the game against Stout, maybe they can get something together there.
Well, Adam, he's Optimus Prime over here for the Pointers. I mean, come on. Well, Cody Nuremberg, I don't even think he threw more than deeper than a 25 to 30-yard completion this past game.
Well, and that's all you need. I mean, he got a 25 touchdown pass to Matt Sosinski over the middle. Oh, it was Jared Pankow, I'm sorry. Jared Pankow on the left side, that was a nice throw. I mean, and he showed he could go deep. He had Sosinski on the left side that same drive and just missed him a little bit. So he showed that he's got the arm strength and he's got the accuracy at times. Did he have bad accuracy?
But he's no Kyle Larson. That's the question.
I'm not saying that. But then again, Kyle Larson, he threw 4 interceptions the game he got hurt. So, I mean, he wasn't stellar against La Crosse, who was I don't think their defense was that good. And for Cody Nuremberg to get judged by his first start as a Pointer, I think that's a little harsh. I mean, we haven't really seen a lot from him. And I'm just saying he can possibly emulate what they did the first 3 games. I'm not saying it's going to happen against Whitewater, but maybe looking ahead against Stout, he could do that.
But you have to, Adam, you got to judge him on his first start because the time's running out for them right now, and he needs to show results or this team's, we all know they're out of the playoffs pretty much. So ending the season strong, I think, is a must for this team. What do you think of that?
Yeah, the playoffs took a big hit this weekend. If they do beat Whitewater, that would obviously give them a great chance to bounce back in. But other than that, I don't think they make the playoffs. But a strong finish would be nice. And otherwise, 7-3 is a pretty successful season.
Well, the loss dropped the Pointers to 6-2 on the season, and they dropped out of the D3Football.com top 25. This weekend, they traveled to top-ranked Whitewater. Let's go into that game. Any chance the Pointers bowl this one off?
I don't see it happening, but if it was going to happen, I mean, they need to get some big plays on offense. Whitewater, like one of the top-ranked defenses in all of Division III. I mean, we've been dink and dunk, and the running game just hasn't got anything going. We haven't had any really long plays. If we could get some of those, maybe get some momentum going, and the defense played well, then maybe we'd have a chance, but it's a long shot.
Yeah, I think it's a long shot, too. I mean, if it was at Stevens Point where their record's been good this year, maybe they have a better chance. But then again, it is Whitewater, and they're going on the road this weekend. And like Justin said, we need the big playability. I mean, Cody Nurnberg showed that he can spread the field and go deep with his arm strength. So maybe try and do that, because they did a lot of short screen plays that didn't work out against Oshkosh. You know, maybe switch up the game plan a little bit, get a good balance going, and then exploit things deep down the field.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just disappointing. They started off so hot this year. Kyle Larson performed well at the start. The injury to him really set us back, and it sucks to see, because they had such a good they had such a good outcome in the first couple games, and then just to see them fall off, it's just disappointing. Well, let's go into the play calling and stuff like that. If I remember correctly, I want to say those wide receiver screens that were thrown. I don't think Cody Nurnberg completed. Maybe he might have completed one or two of those, but otherwise he threw it short to the ground, and they kept running them. I just want to know. I mean, why? Why keep playing?
Yeah,
why keep calling those plays?
He threw a lot of them short that hit the ground. They bounced right in front of him. I mean, but that's probably what the defense was giving them. They knew their game plan was going to be dink and dunk, because they didn't know how accurate he was going to be. Even warm-ups, he kind of looked shaky. Their game plan was dink and dunk. So, I mean, that's why they did it. Just probably had some nervous jitters out there.
But something's got to give, though. If your game plan's dink and dunk and it's not working, and that the defense wasn't giving them that anyway because it wasn't working for them, then you've got to switch it up. As a coaching staff, the best coaching staffs at any level game plan while the game's going on. They change things up. So if Cody Nurnberg, you know, he had Matt Sinsky on the left side, showed his arm strength, showed he can be pretty accurate down the field at times, try it. Try it more, you know, switch it up, especially that second half when they got into the lull there, fell behind 14-7. You know, try it deep. You know, yeah, he had a turnover in the third quarter, I believe. But switch it up, go deep, and see what Cody Nurnberg can do, because that dink and dunk stuff was not working, and they weren't going to win the ball game like that.
He did complete a long pass to Sisinski for a touchdown, but it got called back because he was illegal touching out of bounds, and they had the one crazy trick play with about 3 reverses. I mean, that was pretty cool to watch, but a lot of times they also shot themselves in the foot with penalties.
That's true.
Yeah, and Adam, I was going to bring up the same point with that, but let's go on to, I mean, you look at Nurnberg, I think it was a play in there. He had Matt Sisinski wide open deep in the middle of the field. He threw a bomb. He overthrew him. So, I mean, he's got some arm strength there to sling the ball a little bit. I just don't know why they weren't trying to figure out a different game plan in the second half, because the dink and dunk was just not working.
Yeah, and it's a reoccurring theme, I think, with Coach Janelle and that staff. They've been pretty conservative all year, even with Kyle Larson in there. I don't think they were taking too many shots deep with him. Yeah, they set it up, but it was a slow process to build up to taking shots down the field.
And I think, before you go on, I think when you have a guy like Matt Sisinski, you need to spread the ball. You got Pankow, you got Wallace, you got Logan Taylor, a younger guy. Get those guys involved. I think develop that pass game, and then that running game will open up for the three-headed monster. I mean, we talked about them that whole entire game. 89 yards by DeJuan Rice. I mean, that's not a bad day.
No, it isn't. And I think, like you said, if they spread it around a little more, the running game opens up a lot more for guys like Christian Almonte, who has got that speed to really exploit the defense even further. So like you said, I mean, they've even got Reed Lehman, who's shown he can be a versatile tight end at times. So, I mean, spread the field. You've got the weapons. Just try it. What's the harm in trying, I think, as a coaching staff? Yeah,
and Christian Almonte, Adam, your guy, I would say, for this whole season. They actually started using him a lot more in this game, and that offense, it showed a little spark at times with him in the game.
Yeah, it did, and I think they're starting to realize how they can use him in certain ways that benefit his skill set. I mean, a lot of times at the beginning of the year, they were using him in screen plays, and it just wasn't working. So I like to see him getting more incorporated into the system.
Well, guys, that's enough for football. Let's jump into volleyball here. In volleyball news, the Pointers clinched the regular season with a conference title win over Whitewater and River Falls and Platteville this last weekend. This marks the 4th consecutive year the Pointers have been regular season champs. The 8th-ranked Pointers hosted WEAC Conference Tournament this weekend. They play Friday night against River Falls at 7:30 p.m. All right, Jostun, let's get your take on this. I mean, is this their best bet that they're going to win this conference title?
I think so. I mean, they beat Whitewater on the road last week. They swept River Falls last week at home. They're on like a 15-game winning streak. At home, the crowd should be behind them. I think they can win this conference tournament.
Yeah, and I think they run away with it. But personally, I think, you look at a team like Whitewater, yeah, they just beat them on the road, but don't sleep on them. I think they won in 5 games, correct, against them. So, I mean, they're still a tough team to play, and I think don't sleep on Whitewater, but then again, I think, it's at home. It's a big benefit with the crowd behind us. I think they can run away with it.
Yeah, anytime you're playing conference play, you can't sleep on any team. You got to go in there, game plan for them, and be ready because any of these teams could come out and upset them. But let's maybe jump a little ahead. Do you think this team's really got a shot this year?
For the national championship, I mean, they made it to the semifinals last year. A lot of the team came back. They're up to 7th now. They're on a roll right now. I think they have a legitimate shot, so yes.
Yeah, and I'd have to agree with Josh. I mean, they look like a team that's clicking on all cylinders, and every week it's just different people step up for them, so I think they've got a definite shot.
Yeah, well, that's the overwhelming theme right now for this Pointers team. And across the board, sports for the Pointer Athletics right now has been doing fairly well. And speaking of that, both the men and women's hockey team were in action this past weekend and each earned season open victories. The second-ranked men's defeated Finlandia 11-0 Saturday night, scoring 6 goals in the first period. Unbelievable, including 5 in the first 5 minutes, and then added 5 more in the third period. 9 different pointers found the back of the net. I mean, is that what we were expecting coming out of the gate, especially with this team going to the national championship last year?
Definitely. 22 returning letter winners, your top 9 returning scorers. Like you said, national championship runner-up. Finlandia way overmatched in this game. I expected a blowout, and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, I expected that too. I mean, you look at a team like Finlandia, I think every year, they struggle, definitely where hockey's concerned. So, the Pointers ranked number 2. The crowd is obviously into it a lot at the hockey games. I think, I expected them to blow them out. And I just think the fact that they came out and scored 6 goals in the opening period, though, that was a little bit of a shock. I didn't expect them to do maybe that well, but it's really good to see them come out firing like that.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting to see this team just pick off where they started or left off with last year. Can this team, I think without a doubt, they are probably going to make it to the championship. Can they pull this one off, though, with all the competition?
I think they got a chance. It might even be a rematch with St. Norbert because they're preseason number 1. We're number 2. All the talent that we returned, we obviously got off to a good start against Finlandia. So, yeah, there's definitely a potential for a championship team.
Oh, yeah, and I think they can do it, and I think they're going to do it. I'm going to call it right here, right now. But just don't sleep on St. Norbert. They're always good, and I think that was back-to-back years they won the title, wasn't it? I can't remember.
Sure.
But St. Norbert, they're always a good team and a force in D3 college hockey. So don't sleep on them, but I think the Pointers can do it.
Well, the Pointers men's hockey team, next game is November 7th when they travel to Gustavus Adolphus. Game time is 7:05. Now on to women's hockey. The 7th-ranked team took 2 games from St. Olaf, winning 7-1 Friday night and 5-1 on Saturday. Emily Lester had a hat trick in the first period in Friday night's game, with 5 different players scoring in the Saturday night's matchup. Strong start for the women's hockey team as well. What can we expect from them this year?
Well, I think they'll have a chance to be a conference champion. They ranked 7th in the country to start the year. A lot of talent coming back there. They made the postseason last year. I think they got another postseason run in them this year.
Yeah, I think you look at both these hockey teams, and Point's just becoming a really good powerhouse, I think, in hockey. And I think this women's team is primed to do great things this year and for sure win the conference, if not the national title.
Well, the Pointers return to the ice Friday and Saturday as they host Concordia Moorhead. All right, fans at home, we'll take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we will talk college football and the Wisconsin Badgers. Stay tuned.
Serving a campus of 9,600 strong, we are the home of UWSP Television. We are SPTV. You can find us on Charter Channel 983, online, or on any of our social media sites. Stevie Pointer loves SPTV News and the News' producers. Watch SPTV News weekly for breaking, campus, and local news across Stevens Point. Only on Charter Channel 983. These guys care about sports. The talk continues after the cameras stop rolling. Watch Final Take only right here on SPTV for anything Pointers, anything sports.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Wisconsin Badgers continue their defense dominance with a 37-0 win over Rutgers. The Badgers outscored Big Ten newcomers Maryland and Rutgers by a combined score of 89-7. The defense now ranks first in the country in yards allowed per game and is ranked third in points against. Melvin Gordon ran for 128 yards and 2 scores, while Corey Clement added 131 yards and a pair of scores himself in his homecoming in New Jersey. The quarterback play was less than stellar in this game. However, the weather was cold and rainy. Going forward for this Badgers team to have success, do you think this passing game needs to pick up, especially with the duo they're doing with both quarterbacks?
Does it need to pick up? Maybe a little, as long as they hit the big plays here and there to keep the defense honest. It doesn't have to be spectacular. They just have to hit the few play-action plays, maybe throw it deep just to keep the defense guessing. But this duo of Melvin Gordon and Corey Clement, they're best in the country. Offensive line is up there. I think the running game is going to carry them, but the passing game needs to hit a few here and there to keep the defenses balanced.
I would disagree with you completely. I think they need to step it up now. Like, this passing game needs to get going now with games against Nebraska coming up here. I think that's a huge game. And, you know, if they somehow beat Nebraska, which I don't think they can do, if they make it to the Big Ten Championship against Michigan State, you're telling me they can't, that they're going to run the ball and they're going to beat Michigan State by just solely running the football? I don't think they can do that.
I didn't say they're only going to run the football. I said they had to complete a few play-action passes. The passing game doesn't have to be spectacular. They just have to hit a few here and there to keep defenses honest.
You know, Adam, he just likes to throw words in people's mouths, it looks like over here.
No, I apologize for doing that. But the thing is, I think the Badgers' passing game needs to pick it up right now, and I think it needs to pick up a lot better than it looked against Rutgers. I mean, Rutgers, yeah, they beat them 37-0, but then again, if the passing game looked a lot better than it did, I think they beat Rutgers way more than they beat them already.
Let's jump into the running game. This question just popped in my mind right now. We look at the NFL when they come over. You got Monty Ball, you got Melvin Gordon, who's going to probably be a hot commodity coming into the draft. It seems though these backs struggle all the time once they get to the NFL. Do you think they're just getting overworked?
It could, but I mean, they split time. They keep guys fresh. I mean, last year they had 2 backs. This year they got 2 backs. And maybe it's the system that makes them better. I mean, the talent on the offensive line, they're run-first schools, so the stats might be a little padded. And the talent's obviously way up there in the NFL, so that might be part of it. But they've had a few guys that have had success in the pros.
I mean, you're a Broncos fan. I mean, Monty Ball, I mean, what have you thought of him? Ronnie Hillman's been outperforming.
It's a terrible system fit. It's all about system fit in the NFL, especially at that high level like Jostun was talking about, where the talent is just so much better. I think you look at a guy like Ron Dane, where he struggled for years too, even coming into the NFL. And I think it's all about system fit. You've got to fit the system. They go from a pro-eye, power run scheme, and then Monty Ball comes into the spread offense in Denver, and that's just a terrible system fit. I thought they should have drafted Eddie Lacy myself, but they passed on him and chose Monty Ball. So I think Badger running backs, they need to go into a pro-eye system that really fits their skill set in order to succeed at the next level.
See, I disagree. I think those Badgers, they run them right to the damn ground there, and that's what happens. But that's just my take. Well, the Badgers travel to Purdue this weekend for an 11 a.m. kickoff, so make sure you tune in for that one. There are 6 games with ranked opponents playing each other this weekend. Oregon travels to Utah, Alabama to LSU, TCU hosts Kansas State, Notre Dame goes to Arizona State, Baylor at Oklahoma, and the showdown in our neck of the woods with Ohio State going to Michigan State. Jostun, what game are you looking forward to this weekend?
Well, all these games have potential big playoff implications. You win, you help your resume a lot. You lose, you're essentially eliminated. But the game I'm probably most looking forward to watching would probably have to be the one in the Big Ten, Michigan State, Ohio State, just because those are teams that probably follow more than any others. I mean, the Big Ten say it's down this year, and if one of these teams wants to make a potential playoff run, they're going to have to win this game and then obviously win out into the Big Ten championship as well.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the Notre Dame Arizona State game. No, before you shake your head at me, I think that Arizona State, they leapfrogged Notre Dame now in the polls for the most recent college football playoff rankings. They moved to number 8, and Notre Dame's still at number 10. So I think this is a big game for Notre Dame to kind of come out and prove that they can still make the playoff and that they're a playoff caliber team, which I think they are. And Arizona State, I think they're one of the biggest pretenders right now in the college football playoff race.
You know, the day Notre Dame isn't mentioned on the show is the day Adam graduates from this school. Well, we'll take a quick commercial break, but when we return, the latest news around the NFL. Stay tuned.
Julia Flaherty. I'm the current promotions director at SPTV. My job allows for me to have a lot of personal creative direction because that is the team environment that we instill here at SPTV. This past summer, I had the opportunity to write for hercampus.com as well as thedailyquirk.com. Personally, I feel that being involved with SPTV has really helped boost my confidence and my ability to network with other students. If student media is something that interests you, and even if you're not really sure what student media means, you should stop by our studios. We are looking forward to having you involved this year, and we cannot wait to make media with you.
The Love Doctor is in. Watch SBTV's new series featuring college dating advice, love confessions, and more. Michaela Hilgert is the Love Doctor. Watch the new series premiering this fall on SBTV Charter Channel 983.
The following broadcast is brought to you by SPTV, your #1 leader in UWSP athletic coverage.
Now on to the NFL. The Green Bay Packers had a bye week this week, so we'll go around the NFL weekend with a quick comment surrounding each game. The week started with the Saints moving into first place of the NFC South with a 28-10 win over Carolina.
Looks like the Saints offense getting a little bit of a roll. The defense is playing better. I think they got a chance to win this division.
All I gotta say is I told you so. I called it back earlier in the year, and I think they can close the deal this year.
Sloppy game, that's all I'm going to say. Bengals win 33-23 over the Jaguars.
This game shouldn't have been as close as it was, but the Jaguars, they got a lot of young talent. As long as they get better themselves, that's all that matters for them.
Jags are fighting for their lives just for pride's sake right now, so don't sleep on them the rest of the way. They could get some upsets down the road.
Who cares? Alrighty, Browns win over Tampa Bay 22-17.
Somehow the Browns find a way to win. They're 5-3. Whatever they're doing, it's working. It ain't pretty though.
I don't care who they're playing. They're on fire right now, and they truly believe they can make the postseason.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, with the way they're playing, they might have a chance at a playoff spot this year. Well, Arizona, the league's best, 7-1, beating Tony Romo, who wasn't in that game. It was Brandon Whedon starting. They won 28-17.
Well, the Cowboys are nothing without Romo, and the Cardinals, the defense proved that. I mean, they got a top defense, and they're the best team in the league right now.
I called the Cardinals as my dark horse to, make it pretty far in the playoffs this year, and they're really showing me and everybody else that they can do it.
Yeah, I mean, this Cardinals team, sky's the limit. They might be playing in their own home turf for the Super Bowl if they make it. Well, the Chiefs over the Woeful Jets 24-10.
Yeah, a lot of problems in New York. Quarterback problems, coach problems, and now they got a GM that they raised $10,000 for a fire Idzik billboard. So a lot of problems in New York.
It's time for Idzik and Rex Ryan to go. Get the circus out of town. Get someone who knows what they're doing in there.
Yeah, and Idzik, I saw a report today that an airplane flew over the practice field with a banner that said fire. I mean, it's just not good in New York right now. Well, the Eagles hold on over the Texans 31-21 with Sanchez at the helm.
Yeah, Mark Sanchez. I mean, he's doing a little bit better than he was in New York. I mean, a lot of it's got to do with the system and the talent around him. So we'll see how they fare without Foles.
I believe in Mark Sanchez. I thought he would have won the QB competition if he stayed healthy last year, so good for him to finally come out and show what he's got.
I might eat my words on this, but Sanchez is a bum and he's going to lose on Monday Night Football to the Panthers.
We shall see.
Let's go on. Rams upset the 49ers 13-10 after a fumble on the goal line by Colin Kaepernick.
Rams, they find a way to fight and scrap their way to these NFC West wins against the big boys.
Yeah, and the 49ers just dropping the ball like they did in the end zone this year as a whole, so good for them.
Yeah, it just hasn't been looking good, and you might see Harbaugh on his way out. The Raiders the Seahawks escaped a win over the Raiders, or a loss over the Raiders, 30-24.
Yeah, Seattle, the defense just ain't what it used to be. The offense, the passing game took a step back. Now without Percy, Raiders almost beat them in their own place. They need to pick things up if they want to repeat.
Yeah, the Seahawks are treading a thin line right now. I think they need to get their act together in-house. I think Pete Carroll needs to step it up as a coach, and they need to get things done. Yeah,
I actually skipped one here. I apologize. It was Miami routing the San Diego Chargers 37-0. And I want to say one of you guys said that San Diego is going to be a surprise team, might make a push for the Super Bowl, and I want to say it was one of you. I can't remember, though.
Yeah,
It was you. I like to slam you for that one. I mean, what's going on with these Chargers?
I just want to say one word and move on from this. Despicable. That's it. I'm done.
Alrighty, let's move on here. Steelers dominate the Ravens 43-23 behind Big Ben's second consecutive 6-touchdown games.
Big Ben and that offense, they're on fire. I mean, 12 touchdowns in 2 games, that's a new record. I'd like to see them play the Patriots because the last 2 weeks they've matched each other in points.
Yeah, I think, Big Ben, I don't really like the guy all that much, but this year he's coming out and looking like Peyton Manning did last year, so good for him. He's playing well.
If you drafted this guy in your fantasy, you're loving him right now. The Vikings spoil RG3's return 29-26. What do you think of that one, Jostun?
They started off a little slow, but Teddy got going a little bit. The running game got going, and who knows, they might have a little more help to that offense.
RG3 is never going to be what he was his rookie year. I think he will never be that, and I think Colt McCoy arguably should start the rest of the way because RG3 is looking like a bum.
And he stole my words. All right, the Colts defeated the Giants 40-24 on Monday Night Football.
Andrew Luck replacing Peyton Manning without a hitch. I mean, Indianapolis, things just keep going on. The offense is lights out right now with Luck.
We'll see how they do in the playoffs, my man. I mean, if he keeps losing the playoffs, he's just like Peyton Manning. So.
Well, the Giants are a joke, and that's all I'm going to say. And last but not least, the Patriots stayed hot after dominating the Broncos 43-21 in a Manning versus Brady's 16 victory there.
Yeah, the Patriots, they're on a roll right now, and for some reason Brady has Manning's number.
Yeah, there's not a lot I can say. The defense looked terrible. The offense looked terrible. I mean, it was a rough night. Good for the Patriots. Good for Gronk. Good for all those guys. And I think the Broncos need to get their act together a little bit.
Yeah, I think Adam's eating a little crow this week. You're pretty quiet right now. I mean, you were fired up about a few seconds ago, and now it's down in the dumps. Well, hopefully you get them in the playoffs. That's all that matters. I think that might be the case. Well, next week the Packers host the Bears on Sunday Night Football at Lambeau Field. Any expectations, predictions for that one?
Well, I think this one is going to be a blowout like the first game. I mean, it was close for the first half, but then the Bears just fell apart. Aaron Rodgers got them going, and the Bears have looked terrible the past couple weeks, and the Packers should be a little bit more healthy than they were going into the bye. And it's at Lambeau. I think the Packers win this one easily.
You know what? I'm off their bandwagon. I'm not a Bears fan anymore this year, but you know what? I'm calling the upset in Lambeau Field. Bears win 23-20. They're hungry for a victory.
It's like you're jumping back on the bandwagon.
I'm not on their bandwagon. They're just hungry for a victory. That's all. And I'm saying.
See, Adam, he can never decide what he wants to do on this show ever. I don't understand it. Well, let's jump into something a little more serious here. Adrian Peterson did. Was it today or yesterday? Yesterday, he pleaded no contest. He'll have 2 years probation. He'll serve some community service hours. And if he does all that, everything will be dropped. I mean, what do you think of that? Especially for being a Vikings fan.
Well, as a Vikings fan, I'm glad that he's got the potential to come back. I mean, the first time the grand jury even saw his case, they didn't even indict him the first time. They didn't do that until the Ray Rice video came out. So, I mean, a lot of people are going to say the punishment he got off with is just going to be a slap on the wrist. But the law decided it, so can't really argue with the decision.
How the law can look at that case, however, and see it as blatant child abuse and just slap him on the wrist is beyond me. And if the NFL reinstates him this year, Roger Goodell should be out. That's my opinion.
And Jostun, you say slapped on the wrist. The law decided it. You look at O.J. Simpson case, you look at Ray Lewis case, and some people don't even agree with that still. So I feel indifferent about it. I think it was a slap on the wrist. Well, that's all we have time for today. We thank everyone for tuning in with us. I'd like to thank Jostun Pomplun and Adam Yirkovsky for joining me on the debate desk with their insightful opinions. And a big thanks to our technical staff and all their hard work to make this possible. Be sure to check us out on Facebook at SPTV UWSP Television or follow us on Twitter at SPTV UWSP. Also visit the UWSP homepage to locate all your Pointer Athletics information. And just remember, fellow Pointers here at Final Take, anything Pointers, anything sports. I'm Curtis Rauen, this is Adam Yirkovsky and Jostun Pomplun. If you enjoy our Final Take show, make sure you tune in every week to stay up to date on Stevens Point sports. Remember, Pointers, anything sports.
These guys care about sports. The talk continues after the cameras stop rolling. Watch Final Take only right here on SPTV for anything Pointers, anything sports.